Hi, it's Ricky from Moshville Times here once again. I'm delighted to welcome Ollie, guitarist, vocalist, and Dave, drummer from the Edinburgh-based band A Ritual Spirit. Now, A Ritual Spirit play a mixture of hard rock, and just to be honest with you, they play about everything in between. So delighted to absolutely welcome you guys. How have things been through lockdown? Is everything okay with your jobs and your friends and family and things?
I've been lucky.
Go on, Dave.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I was actually working from home one day a week anyway, prior to all this kicking off and stuff. So
Yeah.
Everyone else is headed home, and I'm like, I'm all here, ready to go. So this is my office now. The job's been safe.
Good. What about yourself, Ollie?
Yeah, I've been on furlough. I worked for 3 months in the past 12. You know, so July, August, September, I was working.
Me too.
Other than that, been on furlough.
Yeah, so have you been decorating your house and stuff like that then in that time? And
no chance. Working on tunes.
Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. But yeah, it's a rubbish world at the moment. I myself was made redundant last year, but lucky enough to get another job, you know. So, but yeah, it's tough times for everybody. But with vaccine on the horizon, then there's hope for everybody. But we're not here to talk about COVID and the lockdown and stuff like that. But so with the lockdown then, and with your last EP, The Antidote, being released in November 2019, have you guys been using this time constructively and written more songs?
It's exactly what we've been doing, yeah. We're working on our second album at the moment. So yeah, I'd say we've got just over half of it written at the moment.
Okay. Had you ever considered like doing an EP, or was it always the intention of doing like an album next?
Our last album
done the EP already, so
yeah, like last album was 2013. So we did the EP 2019. You know, there was a few songs in between, but it's time we did an album again. We've been saying for a long time it's time to do an album. So yeah, that's the plan.
Less talking, more action.
Well, I'm glad that you are, because sometimes with an EP, like I review music as well, sometimes you get an EP, you get 3 or 4 songs and this is brilliant. Oh, it's finished. All right, okay. But when you get an album, you've got like a beginning, middle and an end. So you've got like a story, and it's just, I much prefer albums. So I'm certainly delighted to hear that you're going to be doing an album again. So what can you tell us about the new album then? Will it be like 8, 9, 10 songs, or what are you thinking?
I think we're looking at 12. That's the plan. I think it's probably going to be a slightly more progressive version of ourselves. You know, we've kind of found our sound, and we're pushing the boundaries of A Ritual Spirit a little bit, I think, but that's only a good thing.
I'll be playing more than 4/4 time.
Well, that's actually what I was going to ask. So for those that are new to the band then, how would you say it compares to the early material, and do you think you found the sound that you'd be looking for with this new material then?
Well, it's a different band now, isn't it? So I think we're moulded the sound, you know, with the tools that we've got. Me being the biggest tool in the band, but you know, so but yeah, just when you get 4 different inputs and stuff, you end up with a different thing at the end of the day. So we've changed a lot. So
yeah, what do you think, Ollie, about the new sound?
I think the Antidote EP, like our last release, that really captured the sound of A Ritual Spirit. Like that's how I've wanted us to sound for a long time. So yeah, I think the new songs are, like I said, like a progression on from that, really. I'd say we've pushed ourselves a little bit further than what those songs sound like, you know, structurally, and just kind of producing ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
So it still sounds like us, but it's like I said, a bit more of a progressive us.
Ah, cool. So have you got something like 15, 20 songs, but you're going to dumb it down to 12, 10, 12?
Probably we're working from a lot of demos. We're probably working from about 20 odd demos. So yeah, we're going to have to cut down the demos to what we want to put on the album. Like I said, I think there's 7 songs that we're kind of comfortable with at the moment. So yeah, it'll be like raking through the demos, finding the riffs, maybe splicing some of them together. We've got like the basic ideas for another, probably best part of 10 songs, I'd say. We haven't been working on all of them, but yeah, they're kind of there. We'll get them out there, thrash them out when we can again, and see what works.
Yeah, that's the thing. We can't get in the studio to practice or try these things at the moment, so we're struggling. So.
That's what I was going to ask. When was the last time you guys were lucky enough to get together?
October,
I think it was October. Yeah.
Did you manage to get a few months? Was it like July to October? So you got a lot of things done in those 4 months.
Yes.
Yeah. So
we had the. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I was going to say we had the virtual festivals that we did, like the Breaking Bands and the Frontline Festival. So yeah, we kind of worked on tunes and had those to record as well. So it was a fairly busy time, really.
So Dave, is Ollie the type of guy that would send you a guitar riff at 4 o'clock in the morning?
I've no idea. I'm busy sleeping. No, really. Actually, I think it works late and stuff, but the messages do get whenever they're there. So
yeah.
But it's never like, what do you think of this? And you must get back to me in half an hour. So, yeah, whenever. So.
No, there's definitely times when I've been working all day. I can do 14, 15 hours shifts as a chef. If I can get my words out. So I'll be thinking of something all day, but I haven't had a chance to message the boys about it. So there can be long messages that come through at like midnight, 1 a.m. sometimes, but it's just because I've not had the time to get it out until then.
Yeah. So that's actually what I was going to ask next. How are you guys communicating your ideas to each other then? If you can't see each other in the studio and stuff?
Badly. So, our Facebook Messenger's been pretty good, and emails, obviously Dropbox for sharing files and everything. So Ollie and Fraser can record their own stuff at home and just send it through and do the demo stuff and everything. And whack it on an iPhone through the electronic drum kit and try and play along with it and stuff, and hopefully be able to give them what they need at the end of the day.
So you've got an electronic drum kit in the house then? I was actually thinking you're going to have to get your kitchen pots and pans out.
Got the electronic ones that sitting there. So
there you go. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much for that. So Ollie, with you being the vocalist of the band then, do you do the lyrics for all the songs, or do you welcome contributions from other members of the band?
I mean, we all contribute. I don't think Dave's written many lyrics, but the rest of us contribute.
I can't spell.
Or count past 4. I mean, my songs, I lyrically, most of the songs that I write, I've written the lyrics. Martin tends to write lyrics for his, although, we might help each other out with songs. And Fraser's been in the band a couple of years now, and he started to bring lyrics to his songs. But I'd say if there's ever a song that doesn't have lyrics, it's me that writes it, but it tends to be 5 minutes before I'm going in to record the vocals in the studio.
Last minute.
I leave it pretty late sometimes. It's like, will that do? Yeah, right. Okay, let's go sing it.
I mean, it's certainly a skill. It's certainly something that I can do, is write lyrics to a song. So I would imagine that you welcome contributions from other members of the band, because it can be quite a lot of pressure, especially as you're a guitarist as well. So you've got a hand in writing music as well. So kudos to you. And Dave just turns up, I suppose,
Dave just turns up and hits things, that's it.
Usually Ollie.
So what would you say the lyrical themes are of the new album? Have you taken a new direction?
Not that far yet.
That's a good question. I mean, we cover so many themes, I think, and we've got political songs, and then there's songs about serial killers. There's there's a fairly broad range of topics that we kind of write about. So I think we're covering similar ground. But it's like I say, it's still like a ritual spirit. It's still we've never been like a fully political band, but we do kind of comment, on that side of things sometimes. I think we're probably similar to where we've been in the past.
Cool. So you're not going to write a concept album about a Roman hero or something like that?
You never know this time.
Next year lockdown, we'll do that.
That's great. So was there anything that you've done differently between recording the Antidote EP and the debut album, See, you guys done this to me on purpose.
It's a mouthful, eh?
Yeah, Carnival Carnivorous.
That's the one.
So are you going to take anything, did you do anything differently that you maybe even take on to the recording of this album then?
Well, I wasn't part of the band back then. I just came to help out and stuff. So I recorded drums for the guys and then disappeared and left and put the guitars on top and stuff and everything. I guess this time we'll do it properly as a band, as a member of the band as well.
Yeah.
It's one of the in-jokes in the band, actually, that Dave's never actually officially joined. You know, he's just helping us out, you know. But no, like going back to the album, well, we were in different studios. So the album we recorded in Howden Sound, then we took it to Chamber Studios to mix, and then it went back to Howden Sound again to master.
Yeah.
But we kind of produced that ourselves. Howden's he's an engineer, you know, he's not a producer.
Yeah.
So with the Antidote, we went and recorded with Brian Ramage at Ramage Productions, and he's a producer. You know, he really kind of like took a hold of us and shaped the songs and did what a producer does, but he does everything. So it's, you know, it's produced, engineered, mixed, mastered, all by Brian. You know, well, Ramage. Sorry, I shouldn't call him Brian. And yeah, I mean, he pushed us. Like he does push you, but he gets the best out of you ultimately. Yeah. I think now, if he'd produced Carnival Carnivorous, just how it might have sounded, you know, it might have just been, you know, obviously we didn't really know him then at the time. Yeah. But you know, I do wonder sometimes just, you know, how big it would have sounded if it had his like production on it as well.
Yeah. I interviewed Ramage Inc. About 2 or 3 months ago. Great bunch of guys. But does he?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Brian's the vocalist, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when he had you in the studio and stuff like that, did you feel that he pushed you to get your best vocal performance? And did
definitely.
He bring his own ideas into the songs as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he got me angry at times. He pushed me, you know what I mean? He wanted to get that anger out of me. So, you know, he was pushing me, and, you know, he got that vocal take out of me that he wanted, and it's worth doing. You know, it can get a bit frustrating at times when someone's kind of, you know, getting at you like that. But it's all for the greater good, isn't it? You know, and it shows on the record.
It speaks volumes, though, that you would happily use them again. So all that in-your-face treatment that he gave you, it was all for the greater good, and there you go. You said that you would do it again. By the way, I have to give a wee shout out to Darkness Divine, because I asked them who to look out for, and they said A Ritual Spirit. So awesome. They were one of the first bands I interviewed, so they give you a wee shout out as well.
I saw that. Dave was wearing a Ritual Spirit t-shirt, wasn't he?
He certainly was.
Yeah.
So we're going on about the songs themselves then. So how are the songs constructed in the studio? I mean, are there the main songwriters to the songs, or is there a Ritual Spirit where all the band members contribute, apart from Dave?
That's it.
Yes. Like I said earlier, like 3 of us, like Fraser, Martin, and myself, we all write. So we'll come in with a basic idea or a demo, and then we'll work from there. You know, like, I think we all have input into each other's songs. It's rarely that a song comes in as it is and it stays like that. You know, there'll be, you know, a change here. You know, someone will want that there. So it's definitely a band effort, without a doubt. Yeah.
I never listen to what the guys want on drums and play my own thing anyway. So that's my contribution.
I'm beginning to think that Dave is a bit of the joker of the band. So
no.
So do you drastically change like a song, Dave? Like, see, when you hear the guitars and the bass and then you try and play drums along to it, do you change the pace of the song or anything like that?
Oh, everything's played way faster than it should have been when I start playing and stuff. But the other side is, you know, back in the start, they would come in with all these fancy 7/8s and 5/4s, and I could never do that stuff. So everything got changed to be 4/4 just for me. So that's a drastic change, I think. I'm trying harder this time, though.
We're certainly looking forward to hearing the new material, and you know, of course, to send it to Moshville Times. We'll do a bit to promote it.
Yeah.
We have also, I'm also a member of a podcast team, Mental Still Out There, but also Mark, who's in the podcast team, he does 2 radio stations as well. one in the UK and the one in the US. So whenever you get a new song or anything like that you want released, send it to me and I'll get it promoted. I'll get it out.
Will do. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right,
thanks, man.
no worries. So you released the Antidote EP in November 2019, and like every other band releasing music at this time, it must be a wee bit pissing off that you didn't get that much time to promote it in a live environment. So what touring commitments did you have planned that got shelved in 2020?
Can't remember now.
I think most of them have been rescheduled and then cancelled again and then rescheduled again. So we had a few dates with Deadfire from Aberdeen.
Yes, I saw that. It was actually going to be my birthday. I think it was 8th of October was Glasgow.
Oh well, right.
Yeah, so that's been pushed back. I think we should do that probably towards the end of this year. We've got another few tours kind of we're talking about at the moment for towards the end of the year. We also had a small festival appearance as well. We never actually announced what it was, but we were supposed to be playing a festival overseas. We were supposed to go on a ferry. It's not a tour without a ferry. So yeah, was a bit disappointed to not have gone and done that one. But hopefully this year, if not next year, we'll get on it.
Was it Millport that you had to get the ferry to? No. Because you played some huge gigs as well. Like you supported Dead Label. I just actually interviewed Dead Label last week. But you've also played Bloodstock as well, so that must have been a huge pivotal moment in your career as well. That must have been a blast to play.
I thoroughly enjoyed that one and stuff. It's a big proper stage with the roadies and people helping and gear there. It was just phenomenal. So, and a great bunch of crew running it and stuff. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. So, and it was dry.
Yeah, Bloodstock was amazing. It was, it's a proper gig, like Dave said. It's it's where you want to be as a band. Over the summer you want to be playing festivals. So it was amazing. Great experience, and we met a lot of people there as well. Like the bands that we've toured with, like Ash and Reach, Killanova. We met them there, and that's like where it all started for us going on tour together. So. That's been one of the best things we've done as a band, I'd say, really.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You've obviously made a lot of contacts there and interviewed Ash and Reach as well. They're a great bunch of Liverpool guys. But with the lockdown then, is it giving you more time to look at the more business side of the band, like the marketing side, keeping the name out there and stuff like that? Have you spent a lot more time in merch and things like that?
Yes,
always never stopped.
I've worked on the band every day, every single day. I've done something, but I've been doing business course as well, a music business course. So I've been kind of more recently I just started that in January. So I've been putting a lot of that to use to the boys. So yeah, they got a pretty long document a couple of weeks back, which was, the business side of the band. This is all the business side of the band that we need to sort out, So yeah, we're working that angle. We've been writing a lot, but definitely pushing the business side of the band as well, which you have to do, really.
Exactly. So Dave, is Ollie good at delegating then?
Well, this list is quite substantial and stuff, but he hangs on to a lot of stuff before, and then he's like, okay, I'm done with it now. I think I need to give this to somebody else. So, but yeah, it was obviously getting to understand and trying to, figure out the best way of dealing with stuff, and it's always easy to do that yourself anyway.
Yeah.
And if you can keep it going, then great. But when you've got a list as long as your arm, which always had recently, and he's potentially going back to work soon and stuff. He has to kind of give some of it up. So that was on the list. I've got my list now. So
your deadline 8:30 tomorrow morning on his desk, right?
Yeah, you're right. Well, this is the thing. We run our own label. We put out our music on Disposable Noise. So I've got all that side of things. I've got publishers to deal with, and that sort of thing. So it is a full-on thing to be doing, but. Recently, I've had the time and the energy to do it. Like Dave says, I'm going to be going back to work soon, which means I'm not going to have that time to dedicate to it. So I want to push it as much as I can now while I still can. Yeah.
So sorry for being ignorant, but Disposable Noise is for a Ritual Spirit. But have you actually signed any other bands to your label?
No, not yet. It's just us at the moment. We set it up for the album, so when we release Carnival Carnivorous, we set it up just to kind of be in control of all of our rights and everything, and just it's a better platform, I think, to be putting stuff out on rather than just through DistroKid or a lot of the other places that people use. Nothing against them, but you lose a bit of control. You don't get as much money back per stream or per download. So we thought it was the right thing to do, and it is my plan. Like me and Dave have been building a recording studio the past year and a bit now. So the plan is to start recording bands, and if there's any that look decent or I might want to put out, then I'd like a small roster. I'd like maybe another 4 bands, us and 4 other bands on a roster. I could manage that, and it just kind of pushes the scene as well. We've got a pretty good scene here in Edinburgh, but yeah, just to kind of give a bit of a boost to some bands that maybe wouldn't get it otherwise.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if you get 4 or 5 bands, then that's a disposable noise tour. Who knows?
Absolutely, yeah.
But Edinburgh does have a good scene. I mean, you've got Dog Tired, you've got Iron Altar, to name a couple, and a whole host of others. But talking about Edinburgh then, and everything that's been happening in the world, is everything regarding its venues and everything okay? I think it was Banshee Labyrinth and a wee bit of bother in Bannerman's, yeah.
Bannerman's,
yeah. They were doing the Save Our Venues thing. I don't think there's any venues that have gone under yet during lockdown, as far as I'm aware.
Not I'm aware of, no.
We lost Studio 24 a few years back, which was a shame. Like, that was a great venue. But we gained La Belle Angel, so I mean, there's a lot of venues to play in Edinburgh, from small, 50 capacity, 80 up to, thousands. So yeah, we get a fair choice of where to play. It can mean that the scene gets a bit spread out sometimes. If you've got 3 gigs going on, and that's people spreading themselves out between 3 gigs rather than everyone coming to 1 gig. So you play against that a little bit sometimes, but it's probably better to have more places to play than just the one all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think there's just going to be an explosion of gigs once this nonsense is all over and done with. It's the same in Glasgow. You've got 4 or 5 venues within 200 yards of each other, and you'll have the gigs on every single night. But I think punters are that desperate for gigs. Hopefully there'll be a much better turnout than usual, So
fingers crossed, yeah.
Yeah, good to hear that Edinburgh's going strong as well. But so, of course, talking about 2020 there, it just seems to be like 2020 copy, 2021 paste, and just hopefully it will stop at 2021. But yeah, there'll of course be no live shows in the near future, but with the hope for the vaccine in the horizon, do you have 1 or 2 things lined up for maybe later on in the year that will hopefully go ahead?
We've got one in July, is that right, Ollie?
So the Reaction 3-day. So all the Reaction management bands are doing like a 3-day festival showcase. Showcase. So that's in the Garage attic in Glasgow. So I'm not actually sure. It's June or July. I'd have to check our dates to be sure.
June. I'm sure it's June. So.
Right. Listen to the drummer. He knows best.
You never ever say that.
So have you got anything else lined up, like support to bigger bands or anything, or just seeing what happens first and then book?
There's several tours we're talking about. So there's the Rumble tour, which is Deadfire, Nocturne Wolf, Salt River Shakedown, and I'm not sure we're allowed to say this yet, but the Rhubarb have been added to that as well. So that's hopefully going ahead this year. We'd like to think that's going to be back end of this year. And there's another band that shall remain nameless for now that we're talking to, that we're hopefully going to go out with as well. So yeah, towards the back end of the year, I think we'll hit the road fairly hard if we can.
By the way, I've deliberately moved on from the question I was going to ask you. So have you got a name title for this new album? And do you know roughly when it could be released?
No.
We'd like to think it would be this year. Like, I'd like to put it out this year if we can, but with everything going on, we're not going to put a date on it. We've got working titles for the songs. That's about it, really, at the moment. So yeah, all going well. We'll record it this year and get it out this year. But
Cool.
like I say, everything going on, it might be early next year. You never know.
I was hoping I was going to have a wee exclusive there, you know what I mean? No.
Yeah.
So
if we knew, we'd tell you.
So see the studio that you're building then, is it nearly there, and is it going to be based in central Edinburgh, or are you from just outside Edinburgh, or where's it going to be?
It's just outside Edinburgh, actually, quite close to where I live, although Ollie's the main leaseholder and boss there and stuff. So we were rehearsing there for a while before with the previous holder, and we had the opportunity to take it over, so Ollie jumped on it, and then I like playing with tools and stuff, so I thought I'd give a hand, and here we are. So it's been great for lockdown because stuck here in the office. It's been good to get out of the house and go down there and knock some wood out and do some stuff. So yeah.
Well, I must admit, Dave, I like your background. I like all your shells and everything like that. So I might get you in for a couple of homers if that's okay.
Yeah, aye.
That's cool. So hopefully your studio will be ready soon and everything like that. But also with the studio then, you might be able to get into the studio before you're able to play live gigs again. And I noticed that you embraced the new phenomenon of virtual gigs, and you recently played Breaking Band's virtual gig at the tail end of last year. So do you think that might be something that you look at again in the future, doing a virtual gig first, if you can go out and play?
Well, part of the studio is we've opened up a video space. So my original plan was build a big studio, and then everything that's gone on the past year, we kind of thought, wait a minute, having a video space and somewhere you could live stream, do music videos, photo shoots, all that. So we've built a smaller recording studio, but we're going to have a big space for doing live stream. And
a bar.
Yes. I mean, obviously, we're thinking about playing live more than doing live streams at the moment. Yeah. You know, that's the priority, is getting out live again. But I mean, if the right offer came along, like I said, yeah, like we did Breaking Bands and we did Frontline Festival as well. I mean, they were all raising money for charities. So if something like that came along again, yeah, I'd certainly jump on it. And if gigs aren't allowed, you know, like we're looking at the summer, maybe back end of the year at the moment, but if it all gets pushed back again, then yeah, definitely, I think we'd look at doing it again.
I mean, you've obviously played big gigs with like Dead Label again, but obviously Bloodstock as well. How did it feel to look out to an empty room and still give it your all?
That was weird for me. I mean, I've been doing the band thing for years, and it's all about playing, even to a few people, a few friends down in front or whatever, but going out, having a beer on a stage and whatever. But to do it in a room with just a cameraman in front of you just isn't the same, and I found it hard work, and I wouldn't be looking to do loads of them, but you know, if that's what the options are, then that's the options you take. So I can't wait to get back on a stage, proper stage, with an audience and beer.
Yeah, it was strange. Like we had one cameraman there, you know, just filming. I think even if we'd had 10 people there, just, you know, standing behind the cameras, just at least we were playing to them. I mean, it felt like a rehearsal, really. It felt like a rehearsal that we were being filmed doing, you know. I think the first one we did, the Breaking Bands one, we were ready for it. I think we were full of adrenaline and we hadn't played like a gig for so long, but we just, you know, ready for it. And then by the time the Frontline one came along, I think, well, we planned to record 3 that night just to have a few extra ones, you know, in case we needed them. And we ended up just doing the one. And I think part of it was the fact that there wasn't a crowd there, you know, there wasn't that adrenaline, there wasn't that, it's just not the same experience. And I mean, it needed to be done, you know, it's better that bands were playing virtual gigs in the past year than nothing at all.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth there. Again, it's another marketing tool to let the punters know that a ritual spirit are still there. They're still writing. Yeah. They're still playing.
We're not dead yet.
Exactly. Exactly. I know, Ollie, you've wanted to kill Dave a couple of times. I know that, but
lost count.
So, just getting a wee bit nostalgic then, looking back on the EP that's over a year old now, would there be anything that you would change about it? Is there maybe like the chorus is too long, or the riff is too long, or it's too short, or you wish you'd put more of a solo in, or the sound, anything?
Not from my side. I'm really quite happy with everything that's been done and stuff. I like the artwork, I like the sounds. I got to break glass bottles as part of the recordings. That was that's good fun.
No. Like I said earlier, I think this is the sound that I've always wanted for a ritual spirit. So I'm really happy. It's a rare thing for me to look back on something I've recorded and going, actually, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. But I am with the Antidote, definitely.
You're always quite picky.
I am. Yeah, it's true. I think, well, it's a strange one. Like, part of me thinks that maybe we should have left, if we'd left it in hindsight, if we'd left it till 2020 to release, we might have had a bit more impact with it. I know it sounds silly, but there was quite a lot of championing like releases in 2020 because people couldn't go to gigs. So, you know, they kind of got together and like, that's fantastic, you know, but I think we missed out on that by a couple of months. You know, we released it on the 1st of November 2019 and then, you know, only played a handful of shows afterwards. And I think maybe, just maybe, if we'd released it in 2020, it might have just got just more of a reception because that's what people were doing at the time, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. We'll never know, will we? Unfortunately.
Aye.
But
just the way it went.
Yeah, would it be fair to say that you're looking at Antidote maybe being the debut of the band? Not that you're dismissing Carnival, but you got everything that you wanted from the Antidote. Would you? I'm just wondering.
It's a new era.
It's a new band. It's like, you know, like me and Dave are the only like original members, like from Carnival Carnivorous. So
I'm still not in the band.
So yeah, I mean, when Fraser joined, especially, that was like a new era. That was, we kind of began again a couple of years back. So yeah, we did talk about changing the name, you know, just putting a ritual spirit to bed and going, okay, this is a new band now. Let's call us something else. But we were just off the back of Bloodstock, and you know, people were starting to recognize the name, and you know, we were getting a bit of a following. So it seems silly to kind of start again.
Yeah,
it might be to our detriment. It might have been better, you know, like to have been a new band, but
we'll never know.
Well, yeah, exactly. There you go.
Again, you'll never know, but you just need to get the new release out there to find out.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's the thing. Well, just going back to yourself, Dave, not being a member of the band, at least you can't be sacked. So,
like that.
So again, okay, you talked about it being a ritual spirit part 2 kind of thing. But knowing you guys for some time on social media, things seem to be very settled on the band members front now. So, how would you say you keep it all together? For example, when negotiating what stays in and what goes out of the song?
Drinking games.
Talking about drinking.
No, we're a democracy. We've always been a democracy. There's 4 of us, so we'll vote on things. We'll vote, and if it goes 3-1, then the one just has to suck it up, and you know, that's the way it is. Yeah. And if it's 2-2, and then we'll debate it until someone changes their mind. You know, it's always been like that. I think it's the fairest way, really. You know, everyone gets their say. And, you know, okay, sometimes you're on the wrong end of it. And, you know, the other 3 have, you know, decided that we do something that you didn't necessarily want to do. But it's the way it goes, you know?
Yeah. So Dave, who's the moody one in the band? Who's the one that goes in a huff if your song isn't played?
I don't know. Do we have a moody one?
All he's watching.
I've had my moments.
All he's watching, you see.
I've definitely had my moments.
I'm old and grumpy. He might be moody, but we just ignore him half the time.
Well, that's the thing. I'm kind of a wee bit disappointed your answer, to be honest with you, because I was expecting fisticuffs in the studio and like blood on the walls and everything like that. But
that's just a paint job. That's
no, it certainly doesn't appear to be that. It seems to be like you're all focused on one goal, and that's just getting new music out there. So. Again, looking forward to hearing it. So you're signed to Reaction Management. How's the relationship been so far, and what would you like Reaction Management to do for you?
So, if they could get us playing Wembley, that would be amazing.
Yeah, nice big gig or something. It was a weird one signing up to Reaction because obviously with lockdown and stuff, they couldn't do the gig booking thing, which was, you know, their primary goal and stuff. And you know, it's like, you know, having Netflix with no internet access sort of thing. But I've always said if someone's going to come and help us, they need to like the band and be a fan of the band and stuff. And I think Bobby, you know, as our manager and stuff, was that. So it made sense to see what he could do. So Plus, he's obviously involved in Nocturne Wolf now, so hopefully we can do stuff together as a band and do, across the two towns, if not elsewhere. So
cool.
Yeah, it's been a difficult one, like Dave said, because they haven't had the chance to shine in the way that they could if we were out gigging, and we haven't had the chance to shine for them either, really. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely pointing us in the right direction, and there's certain breaking bands, Frontline, we wouldn't have done any of that without them. I'm looking forward to kind of getting back out there, and like I said, them showing us what they can do more, and us doing the same for them.
Yeah, cool. Well, hopefully it all works out soon. All right, guys, thanks very much for that. So I might be showing my age a wee bit here, but before the internet, magazines and fanzines were the places to find out about new bands and trends. But now publications have been replaced with thousands of websites catering for all genres. So do you think that some of the passion has been lost, or do you think that the internet has been a good thing for your music and a good thing for a ritual spirit?
I think the passion's still there. I think it's the mystery that's been lost. You're so much closer to bands now. It used to be that you'd only see them. You might go to the gig and see them on stage, and then that was it. You might see one article in a magazine about them, or the videos on MTV. Whereas now you can tweet your favorite artist, and they might actually reply. So I think it's been a good thing overall. Like we can get our music across the world now, whereas you couldn't. So. Okay, you're not getting paid as much for it, but I think that's gonna balance out eventually. I think it's ultimately a good thing.
Yeah. So you must have before I come to you, Dave, you must have like fans from like far-reaching countries that you'd never imagined that you would have before.
We've just sold a CD to somebody in Italy, isn't it? Or Spain?
Italy, yeah.
Italy, aye. So, and we've had sales in America as well, which is really cool. So.
Yeah, got a fair following in America and across Europe. Starting to get one in South Africa, Australia as well. So a lot of the like British speaking countries. But I'd say like probably Europe, Netherlands. We've got a fair few there as well.
Yeah, cool. What about yourself, Dave? What do you think?
So being another one of the older generation and stuff, I'm kind of struggling.
You don't look it. You don't look it.
Don't act either. So, no, I mean, for me, I think it may be, in some respects, a bad thing in some ways as well, because you can Google the band and go, actually, you know what? I don't like that. I'm not going to go and check them out. I'm not going to give them that £3.50 or whatever for the ticket sale. But I do like it. I do use it a lot for going tour with a band, try and find out a bit more about them. So when you meet them, you can go, "Hi, I'm Dave. You must be, for example, Claire," sort of thing. So and chat away and stuff. You know a bit more about them and what they're doing. So swings and roundabouts. It's.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. I think it's a double-edged sword. Because like the late 80s and early 90s, there was nothing better like sending a couple of pounds away to a band, and then a couple of days later you'll get an envelope with a cassette demo in it, and you'll get stickers flying out and the band and stuff, and you would listen to the demo and you go, "Oh, I don't know if I like that," but because you've invested in it, you would listen to it again and again, and then you keep up in your mind. Whereas now, as you say, you can go on a streaming website, listen to 10 seconds, "Oh, that's pish," and you've got like another million bands that you can just play onto, So I think
that's the other thing is
dismissive.
Yeah, because you've not paid for it and stuff. You just hit the skip button really, really quickly. I find guilty, So that's what I do. So Spotify, skip.
I mean, when I was growing up, it was it was tapes and it was vinyl, and we were like, CDs should be banned, But now we're all crying out for CDs and all the rest of it again, so you guys can get your proper money. But hey, in fact, did they not say? I'm sure I read somewhere that vinyl outsold CDs for the first time in.
Yes, aye.
Yeah,
was that last year or something?
Yeah.
So
it's
a big.
There's always going to be this nostalgic element. I mean, I just got 2 cassettes through the door from America the other day. I don't have a cassette player, but it's just.
Mine's over there.
So there you go.
America seems really big on the cassettes. Quite a lot of the bands are doing the demos and stuff on cassettes again. So
yeah, I think it's making a comeback again, you know. But it will probably be like limited runs of like 50 or 100 or something like that. But hey ho. But I might have to start another 40-minute session on Zoom here, because now's the time where I ask for the make and model of the instruments that you'll be playing for the next record then. So Ollie, we'll start with you. What guitars are you using for the next recordings? Oh, you've got a wee collection there, I see. I'm
prepared. So I'm a Gibson SG man. I've got 3. But this one in particular, this is a 1980. That's older than me. And it's got this,
wow,
you can see it, the zebra humbucker, the sticky fingers humbucker. It just, that sounds amazing. It's the best sounding Gibson I've ever had. So, well, probably I've ever heard even. So everything that we record will be on this. Like, I think Fraser even used this on the Antidote as well. So yeah, that's my baby. And I played through a Meta Boogie dual rectifier, through a PV5150 4x12 cab. So yeah, that's my basic setup.
So when you play live then, what would be your backup guitar?
This is my second guitar. This is my backup guitar for playing live. So my live guitar is another Gibson SG. It's a limited edition Silverburst. They only made 400 of them, and I managed to get the last one. So yeah, just Silverburst SG. And then I've got a spare third one there if I ever need it.
So
really bad again.
I hope you take good care of that being the 400th one. I bet you take it to bed with you, you know. You sleep with it.
I sure do. Yeah, I clean it after every practice, every time I've played it, every show. It always gets cleaned. And it's got a few scuffs on it. It's quite old now. But you know, they're passion marks, aren't they?
Dave, does he have a name for his guitar?
He's not confessed if he does.
No, I'm not one of those guys.
So what about you being the vocalist as well? Have you also went through a range of microphones as well before you settled on one? Or are you a guy just that'll play on any microphone?
No, with the studio, yes, of course. I've been buying and looking at decent recording microphones, but for live, no, I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered at all. Right? As long as it makes the sound that I want it to, then I'm happy.
Yeah. Do you have do you know what you've got in the studio?
In the studio, I've just bought a pair of Aston microphones, so an Aston Origin and an Aston Spirit. It's actually the mics we used on the drum kit for the Antidote. That was the first time I'd heard them. They're incredible. Like, they're so good.
Did you say Spirit was one of the models?
It is, yeah. So I've got an Aston Spirit and an Aston Origin. But yeah, like Ramage, like when we were recording the drums, Ramage went down to just those 2 microphones, or just the room microphones. And honestly, we could have used that as the drum track. They sounded that good. Yeah. So, you know, they're only there very lightly in the mix, just to give that room sound. But they double up as vocal microphones and instrument microphones. So it's kind of like all round multi-purpose, but really solid microphone. So I'm looking forward to getting into the studio and using them.
Yeah. I noticed your Gibson's got 6 strings. Did you ever think of going to 7? Since you said yourself that you're getting progressing and stuff like that.
Yeah, we just detune. Yeah. So instead of
if I'm doing 7, 8 times, you can do 7 strings.
No, we have been tuning down to B. So yeah, that's obviously the lowest string on a 7 string. So yeah, it could be time to actually look at that, but they don't do a 7-string SG, so I'm not sure what I'd do.
That's a custom job, isn't it? It's made to measure.
And I also see that you've got a wee acoustic here as well. Is there going to be like a wee ballad in the album or anything?
Well, I would like to actually. Because Fraser's a piano player, so we've not got one finalized yet, but I think there may be a little bit of piano and acoustic guitar and all that on the next record. Yeah,
there's my exclusive. I've got an exclusive there. So have you got like guest musicians playing on the
acoustic guitar? Yeah, that could be real trouble.
So you have guest musicians as well, or guest vocalists on the new album?
Never thought about that.
I just wondered.
Yeah, no, it's not something we've considered yet. We obviously did it with the Antidote. Got Alan Hill from Killinova on Celebrity. And I think it's worth doing, really. I think collaborations are definitely like the way to go, really. Bands performing on each other's records, you know, you're promoting each other at the same time. So, you know, we're all about being in it together and doing that kind of thing. So, yeah, we've not talked about it yet, but I think we possibly might.
Cool.
I mean, we've already got our own other singer anyway. Martin sings some songs, so, you know, that's a kind of guest thing.
Yeah. Do you know, it's something that I love seeing live is more than one vocalist. I think having two vocalists at least, it adds so much diversity to a song. It brings something different, you know. So, and it also lets Ollie just go around the stage and go mental. Gets 30 seconds to go absolutely mental on the stage, and then he back to your main vocals again.
Runs over and hits me, and then goes back.
Well, listen, guys, thanks very much for the Oh, sorry, Dave, I forgot about the drummer there. It's most bands.
Fine, standard procedure, happens all the time.
So go on then, tell me what drum kit do you have then? What do you use?
I have a silverish, blackish one. No, I got a nice Yamaha a few years back. It was going cheap, and it was a bargain. I just had to get my hands on and stuff. So 2 kicks, 2 rack, 2 floors. Nice big rack system and stuff, so top end Yamaha as well. So, and for mid entry level price, so I just had to have it and stuff. So we were recording with that. Variety of whatever cymbals I can find in the band room at the time. I've got one favourite, but it's quite loud, and the guys are a bit kind of, you know, try not let me use it if possible. That's the one. So, but I do have to obviously shout out to my Ballbeck drumsticks that I'm proudly endorsing. So the Pro 3s are a cracking.
So what size is a drumstick?
It's that size.
I mean,
it's about that wide.
Ollie, I would get
We've got to put up with this all the time, you know.
Yeah, it's all I can say is it's bigger and heavier than a standard 2B, which I used to play for long enough and everything. And no matter how hard I try, I just can't break them. So it takes an effort. So a good stick.
So what about the snare sound? Is it going to be different to that of the Antidote? Have you changed it in any way, or is it going to be the same? Is it quite difficult to change? Or to get it the way that you want it?
I mean, so for me, I mean, when I'm sitting rehearsing in the band room and stuff, I put dampeners on the drums to get a thump more than a ping. But some engineers like that ping because then they can work with it. So I will take everything into the room, we'll record stuff, and Ollie will tell me which one he wants to use, and he can work with, and we'll go from there. So see what happens. So.
There's no worse snare sound. I mean, I like extreme stuff as well, and there's no worse snare sound than like a biscuit tin. You know, I hate that. It immediately puts me off. But listen, guys, thanks very much for the interview. Where would we find the Ritual Spirit on social media then?
Everywhere.
Facebook. What's our website, Dave? ritualspirit.net.
.net,
Then we've got, it's all a Ritual Spirit, so Facebook / Ritual Spirit, Instagram a Ritual Spirit, Twitter a Ritual Spirit, YouTube / C / a Ritual Spirit.
Cool.
You know what we don't have? OnlyFans.
Yeah, we'd make loads of money on that, man. Definitely.
Is there a respectful channel that you're on here, please? Thank you. Keep it clean. But listen, like I said, get it over to Moshville Times. We'll certainly do a bit to promote it.
Thanks as always for that. So.
Yeah, we've always been keeping tabs on what it is that you guys have been doing. So we want to keep that relationship going. And definitely when you get on a live front, we'll definitely be there. You'll most probably find me at the bar. But like I say, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm certainly looking forward to hearing the new stuff, and I wish you guys all the best.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
Cool.